Greetings from wherever you're watching us from, and a very good evening to you, to our topics this evening.
Tonight, IEBC Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya resigns just hours after President William Ruto suspended him and 3 other dissenting commissioners. The opposition fights back, saying it is a plot to rig the 2027 polls.
The tribulations of the commissioners are not about 2022 elections. This is about 2027 elections. Mr. Ruto wants to rig the 2027 elections in 2022.
Also tonight, teachers and education experts give varied opinions on the recommendations on grade 6.
Na tashwishi, kulikuwa na maswali mengi sana. Hawa wanafunzi wa grade ya 6 wataelekea wapi?
Teachers set to handle junior secondary, the new headache for government.
Sidhani wako tayari kabisa, lakini kuna kitu tunasema kuwa unaweza kusoma ukifanya kazi.
Plus, first case of cheating in 2022 KCSE reported in day 1 of the exam. Over 20 mobile phones nabbed as the KICD says unauthorized phones at exam centers to be treated as cheating.
Catherine Simalo is on the sign language docket. My name is Stanley Iringita. Now, the Electoral and Boundaries Commission Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya has resigned hours after President William Ruto announced his suspension and that of his 3 colleagues and the formation of the tribunal which will probe the matter. According to Nyang'aya, he made the decision for the best interest of the nation. This comes as the Aggrey Muchelule Tribunal take oath of office, an exercise which was overseen by Chief Justice Martha Koome, promising to deliver justice on the matter.
Hours after President William Ruto suspended the embattled 4 IEBC commissioners and formed a tribunal which will probe whether they will be finally ousted, Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya has surrendered and tendered his resignation to the president. In his letter through the head of public service, Nyang'aya says that he made the decision in the best interest of the country, saying it supersedes individual interest. Nyang'aya, who has served the commission in a little over 400 days, says he feels targeted unfairly as all actions he has taken at the commission have been in the interest of the country. Further, he says in the last few weeks, and I quote, have had serious soul searching and being a man of faith, prayed fervently so that they may have wisdom to make a decision. Nyang'aya's move comes just hours after the president had recommended a 5-member tribunal chaired by Justice Aggrey Muchelule with members Caroline Kimende Daudi, Linda Gaki Kiome, Matthew Jaramba Nyabene, and retired Colonel Said Hamis Said. The tribunal has taken oath of office this evening at the Supreme Court, an exercise which was overseen by Chief Justice Martha Koome, who pledged to deliver justice on the matter.
Mandate of the tribunal, such as this one, that is constituted under Article 251 of the Constitution, demands that you conduct your proceedings in a very transparent and fair manner and without any bias, considering the people who are before you have human rights, therefore they must be treated with dignity, and justice at the end of the day must be upheld.
This is a heavy responsibility that is being bestowed upon us by this nation. We have had some initial discussion with the members and all those concerned, and we have agreed that we are going to do our utmost best to keep to the oath that we've just taken, to do everything to make sure that we will be as level-headed, as independent, and as fair as it can be.
Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Chairperson George Murungara, while delivering the report to the National Assembly, said they had enough grounds to warrant the suspension of the commissioners.
In accordance with Article 251(5) of the Constitution. And number 3, that His Excellency the President suspends the commissioners herein pending the determination by the tribunal.
The suspended commissioners will be on half salary until the tribunal delivers its ruling. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Moving on, Azimio leader Raila Odinga now says the opposition will not be dissuaded in its bid to avoid a return to the dark days, while maintaining that he won the August 2022 general elections. Odinga has bashed the president for suspending the 4 dissenting IEBC commissioners, saying that this is a well-orchestrated plan to rig the 2027 general elections.
Azimio One Kenya coalition leader Raila Odinga has responded to President William Ruto's move to suspend IEBC Vice Chairperson Juliana Cherera and 3 other commissioners. Odinga now timing the move as a plan to capture the commission in a bid to manipulate the 2027 general election by President William Ruto.
This comes as the Aggrey Muchelule tribunal will take oath of office and exercise which was over
2022 elections. This is about 2027 elections.
Speaking during a meeting with Nairobi grassroots leaders in Nairobi, Raila described the suspension as dictatorial and a threat to democracy. He reiterated that Azimio coalition would not sit back and allow the government to remove the 4 commissioners from office.
We are in a real danger of losing everything we have fought for and won over the last 30 years. We are in a real danger of starting back to the 1980s.
The former Prime Minister maintained that he would lead his supporters in public consultations forum beginning December 7th at the historical Kamukunji grounds. Azimio also revealed plans to hold a rally at Kamukunji grounds parallel to the National Jamhuri Day celebrations on December 12th.
Tutakuwa na mkutano na wananchi ya kufanya ushauri. Kuuliza wananchi kama wao wanakubaliana na ile njama ambayo inapangwa na serikali ya Ruto na vibaraka vyake. Hiyo ndio sababu tumeamua kuongea siku ya leo.
Raila's statement came shortly after President William Ruto announced the suspension of Cherera and his commissioners Irene Masit, Francis Wanderi and Justus Nyang'aya following a recommendation from the National Assembly. But speaking on the auspices of the 45th pass-out parade for the prison recruit trainees in Ruiru, Kiambu County, the president has hit back at the opposition leader for the planned demos, castigating him for misusing ordinary Kenyans where they lobby their children for top government positions. The Azimio One Kenya leaders now blaming the ruling government over a plan to capture the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, even as they now plan for a parallel celebration of the Jamhuri Day that is on 12th of December to forge a way to fight for democracy, which they now say is under threat. Flora Limuki, TV47, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Center, Nairobi.
Right, many thanks for that, Flora Limukina. To matters classrooms, over 800,000 KCSE candidates have begun writing the exam countrywide, with the government once again finding itself fighting cheating cases. Now, just today, over 29 mobile phones have been nabbed with a suspicion of containing examination material. Emmanuel Haimba with more.
Day 1 of the 2022 examinations came with its usual tests, the first with 7 out of the 884,263 candidates sitting the examinations in hospital in Baringo after they delivered.
Tuko na wao hapa na wanafanya mtihani, tumewaandalia mahali pa kufanyia mtihani pale pazuri ambapo kumetulia na ni safi pia kwa kufanya mtihani yao.
5 are in Baringo County Referral Hospital, while 2 are at Kabaritonjo Health Center, and according to Amy Cherop, a nurse at the Baringo Hospital, 3 girls underwent surgery, while 2 of them delivered normally, with 1 discharged.
Tumekuwa na wanafunzi 5 ambao walikuja kujifungua, 2 walifanyiwa operation na 3 wamejifungua kawaida.
Cherop says that if the conditions of the candidates and their newborns improve, they will be allowed to leave hospitals on Monday and take the exam in their respective schools.
Wale walifanyiwa operation, watoto wakiendelea vizuri na mzazi pia apone vizuri, by Jumatatu tutakuwa tumewaachilia pia waende nyumbani. Mradi tu wakiwa sawa jinsi watakavyofanya mtihani pale shuleni.
The first day also saw the first case of cheating in the 2022 KCSE. Yes, so far, close to 30 phones have been nabbed from the examination center at the Dadaab refugee camp. The phones are at the moment being analyzed by the DCI for appropriate action in the event they are found with examination materials. The case making the government change their exam administration regulations, with KICD boss now saying that any phone found in an examination center will be treated as a case of exam irregularity. The case now opening the lid on the hard time the ministry is facing in raiding the cheated menace. The case seemed to be on upward trajectory in the last two examinations of 2022 and 2021. Khaemba Emmanuel, TV47, Nairobi.
And still on the same beat, after forums with education stakeholders through the Presidential Working Party for Education Reforms, recommendations were made including having 6th graders being domiciled in the existing primary schools up to the 9th grade. And as Beatrice Watare now reports, the government finds itself between a rock and a hard place as it rushes against time to recruit qualified teachers to handle junior secondary students.
The recommendation to hold grade 6 learners in existing primary schools has brought about fresh headache for the government as the fate of the over 1.2 million learners transiting to junior secondary remains in limbo due to the lack of adequate teachers.
And we have asked TSC to give priority to the teachers that are CBC compliant when they are hiring the teachers, the 30,000 teachers by January this year.
According to education experts, however, the level of preparedness on CBC teachers is worrying, considering that most of them have not acquired the required expertise on the CBC curriculum.
Walitengenezwa, walielimishwa, walifunzwa, lakini kijujutu. Sidhani wako tayari kabisa, lakini kuna kitu tunasema kuwa unaweza kusoma ukifanya kazi.
Dr. Wanjohi Githinji, an education expert well versed with primary school affairs, says the government will have a hard time to recruit and ensure the learners get well-trained teachers before the schools open in January 23rd. This coming after the government plans to hire over 30,000 teachers.
You know, we already have a deficit of 116,000 in this country. And we have previously been employing 5,000 teachers every year. So that 1,000 will go a long way in trying to reduce this deficit.
Kwa hivyo tunatarajia kuwa TSC ingawa amesema ataajiri walimu sijui 30,000, hawa hawatoshi. Wale walimu wote ambao wamefuzu waajiri.
Dr. Githinji says the additional CBC classes formerly built by the previous administration may not be of use, this being brought about by the fact that no proper planning was employed before the construction of the CBC classes.
Na hivyo ilibidi wafanye mambo haya yote kwa haraka ndio waweze kuyakamilisha. Kwa hivyo madarasa yenyewe huenda hata ya stahimili muda.
All eyes are now on the Kenya Kwanza government and the Ministry of Education in order to ascertain on how easy or difficult it will be for the government to implement the new education reforms. Reporting for TV47, my name is Beatrice Watare.
Right, imagine telling your friends that you're done with the primary school and you're joining secondary school, and then the government says nope, back to primary school, back to primary school. Anyway, from matters that now to matters Kenya has joined the world to marking World AIDS Day. This year's theme being to equalize, which basically promotes and aims to end the triple threat, which includes new HIV infections, adolescent pregnancies, and sexual and gender-based violence. In Kakamega County, it has been revealed that 46,300 people are living with the virus. This shows that 4 out of 100 people are HIV positive in the county. A reporter, Violet Auma, interacted with some of the people living with the virus in Kakamega and filed this report.
39-year-old Phyllis Hamasi is a resident of Amalemba Estate, Kakamega County.
Nilichua mtu akipatikana na virusi anaenda kukufa.
The mother of 4 was diagnosed with HIV when she was pregnant with her second child. She says taking her medication religiously has seen her carry 3 successful pregnancies, with the last born being 8 months old. All this without infecting her partner.
Hiyo safari ilikuwa safari iliyo ngumu, lakini niliambia Mungu utanisaidia, nimeza dawa, nikikupali mume wangu amenikupali. Mtoto akapimwa kipimo cha kwanza akapatikana kwa HIV negative. Nikaona sasa kuna hope sasa ya kuishi, maana mtoto wangu ako sawa.
After counseling sessions at Kakamega Referral Hospital, Phyllis has opted to reach out to locals to educate them, especially pregnant women, on prevention of mother-to-child transmission.
Nisipoambia huyu mama ambaye ni mjamzito ataambukiza mtoto wake virusi, lakini nimwambia hata mimi niko na virusi na nimezaa mtoto mwenye hana virusi, kupitia kwangu mafundisho yenye nampatia itamsaidia.
Reverend Gershom Shisinya of PAG Church Shinyalu is among those who have publicly declared their status.
I was being stigmatized, and people would point at me because they knew my weight. Now I was like 45 kilos.
The altar being the perfect place for him to pass HIV and AIDS messages to his congregants.
I talk about HIV, I talk about diseases.
Shisinya, who is also a volunteer educator at Kakamega Referral Hospital, says the severe shortage of HIV test kits and condoms in the county may lead to an increase in new infections.
The recent, in fact at General we don't
For how
have.
long?
It's like 3 to 6 months now.
This comes as Kenya joins the world in marking the World AIDS Day amid reports of rising cases in new infections in over a decade. The World AIDS Report 2022 shows that 8 out of every 10 new HIV infections occurred among adolescent girls and young women aged between 15 to 24 years, with 20,505 of all new HIV infections occurring among women and girls. This is an increase of 7.3%, with 10 counties accounting for 57% of all new infections. The 10 include Nairobi, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Siaya, Migori, Nakuru, Mombasa, Kakamega, Kisii, and Uasin Gishu County. In Kakamega, First Lady Professor Janet Barasa described the new statistics, which have shown that school-going girls have recorded over 25% of pregnancies in the county, with Butere, Ikolomani, and Navakholo registering huge numbers of new infections in the county.
Right here in Kakamega County, the HIV prevalence is 3.9%, meaning that an estimated 4 out of 100 people live with HIV. In the last 6 months, 3.7% of the newly diagnosed HIV clients in Kakamega County were adolescents aged between 10 to 19 years. Regrettably, Navakholo sub-county and Butere sub-counties have recorded the highest infection rates in this age category at 7.1 and 5.1 respectively.
She is urging all to be responsible and get tested to reduce new infections.
Najua maisha yangu ni kumeza dawa kila siku. Afadhali nisahau kitu kingine, lakini dawa ni lazima nimeze. Yes.
Violet Auma, TV47, Kakamega.
Thank you, Violet, for that. And still on the same matters, it has been 4 years of loneliness and mystery for Anne Wambui, who was misdiagnosed with HIV and AIDS in February 2018. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, Wambui is now calling for justice, saying her family has since abandoned her as they refuse to accept that she is HIV negative.
46 kilometers from Nairobi, we arrive at this homestead in Goingwa, Kiambu County. Here we meet 50-year-old Anne Wambui, fully armed with her jembe. She tells us that she has been living 4 years of misery and loneliness, and she only finds solace in tilling pieces of land. It all began on the 3rd of February 2018 when she and her husband went to get a HIV test at the Thika Level 5 hospital, but the results were shocking.
Sasa alikuja tukaenda kupimwa HIV, na vile tulipimwa HIV, mimi nilipimwa mara 2 ya HIV, ikasemekana mimi niko na HIV, lakini mzee wangu hakuwa na HIV.
After refusing to take the ARV drugs for months, Wambui received a call from the hospital on the 16th of March 2018 when doctors sought answers as to why she was not taking her medication, further insisting that her life was at risk.
Mimi nikawaambia sitakunywa dawa kwa saa hiyo, wanipatie na muda niende nijue mahali nilitoa HIV. Akaniambia nisipoanza kunywa dawa nitaenda kukunyia jera. Hapo nilistuka, ikifika ni jera nilistuka.
Amidst the state of shock, despair and confusion, she attempted to take her own life.
Nilienda chemist nikanunua latirati 2 na dawa ingine ya kukoroga ya maji. ile inaoshaga vinonda. Hiyo dawa ndio nilikoroga nikunywe badala ya HIV niondoke.
But things took a new twist on the 10th of December 2018 when Wamboi decided to take a new test during her son's circumcision ceremony. Shockingly, Wamboi tested negative, a situation that triggered a web of emotions including confusion, joy, anger and uncertainty.
Mimi mwenyewe nikarudi nikajipeleka tena huko kuonyesha hiyo risoti. Niwaulize mbona wamenipea dawa? Waliniambia niko na HIV na sina HIV na hiyo risoti zao zimetokelezea hivyo. Mwenye nilikuta tena alinirudia hiyo kipimo na ni kweli sikuwa. Sasa hiyo maneno ilienda nini mzima. Sasa ndio wale watu wa bodi wakafikio. Wenyewe ndio walikuja mpaka kwangu wakanichukua.
On the 11th of September 2019, the partners in Health and Research Development wrote a letter to Thika Level 5 Hospital where they questioned the results and the steps they took after.
Kuna hospitali tulienda mpaka Kenyatta. Nilitolewa damu hii nyingi sana ikipimwa na nikatolewa hii na hata hapa nilitolewa. Unaona? Hospitali 3 nikatolewa hii na hii ilikuwa 3. Nakumbuka ilikuwa 3 na yote ilikuja mimi si mgonjwa.
On its part, the Ministry of Health, through the then Cabinet Secretary Cicely Kariuki, also released a statement condemning the misdiagnosis, further raising concerns that some health facilities were using obsolete, expired or not evaluated HIV kit.
Nilikuwa na kazi ya busheri na hoteli hapa polisi tu. Hiyo kazi yangu ilikuwa inanisimamia kusomesha huyu mtoto, ilikuwa inanisimamia kulipa nyumba 10,700, ilikuwa inanisimamia maneno mingi sana. Kutoka wakati ule niliambiwa na nikaonekana kwa runinga, kazi yangu hapo ndio iliharibika. Ikaharibika kabisa.
Sasa Wamboi tumekaa hapa vile afya yake imeenda chini juu ya fikra. Hata kupata kibarua kwa mtu anampea kitabarua siku moja mtu anakuja ananiambia hey Wamso, vile nimeona huyu mama umeniletea hawezani na kazi. Sasa najaribu kumueleza si kupenda kwake, ni vile tu anakaa depressed.
Though many concur with the proverb blood is thicker than water, this statement remains unrelatable to Wamboi, who painfully narrates how her family has since abandoned her as they refuse to accept she is HIV negative.
Kenda chini kabisa, maisha yangu ilikaa vibaya kabisa. Bwana wangu atakaje kuniona tawale hajaamini ati mimi si mgonjwa. Nilimpelekea mpaka ile barua aone na macho yake. Hajaamini hata waleo.
Maisha imekuwa ngumu. Juu Wamboi amekuwa tu na maisha ngumu juu watu wao wali neglect. Si sister zake, si brother zake, hata watoto wake wenye ni wakubwa hawataki kumsikia.
The 4-year quest for justice is still on for Wamboi, who says the Thika Level 5 Hospital lack of cooperation in the case has delayed the legal process. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Right, in other matters, new principal secretaries who were sworn in today at State House in the morning immediately reported to their workplaces and participated in the handing over ceremony. The outgoing principal secretary, State Department for Labour and Skills Development, Peter Tum, handed over instruments of power and welcomed the new PS, Geoffrey Kaituko. Paul Kirobi reports.
After a setback occasioned by a court order, the 51 men and women picked by President William Ruto to hold the roles of principal secretaries took the oath to serve in State House, Nairobi. The oaths coming just hours after Parliament approved their nominations after the vetting process. The president explaining to them that they already have their work cut out for them as they settle in their respective ministries. Out of the 44 PSs who served in the previous administration, 6 were retained, although the president upped the number to 51.
Dongo Kundu that was supposed to be delivered by 2027 to be brought forward to 2024. And I have also instructed that the Naivasha Industrial City be fast-tracked.
Projects, because that was not personal property. They were not personal projects, they were not personal property. Government needs to be a going concern. Irrespective of who is the president, the country needs to go forward. you know. And the same way that he has committed and he has even done things that had been started in the previous regime is the same way the PSs will be expected.
The president, who is under pressure to deliver Kenya Kwanza pledges he made during campaign period, has urged the new PS to only focus on delivery and not focusing on serving personal interest.
All of us must walk the talk. And I have said that in matters paying taxes, I will lead the way.
And just hours after the oath ceremony, some of the new PSs swung into action, with the old handing over to the new. The outgoing Principal Secretary, State Department for Labour, Peter Toom, handed over documents and welcomed the new PS, Geoffrey Kaituko, in the ministry as the PS pledges to serve Kenya Kwanza government diligently.
And he has delegated that to us. The opposition has been given the mandate to oversight us. And a lot of questions they will ask will arise from the implementation of the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. And so whether you believed in Kenya Kwanza or you didn't before the election, well, the new reality is that we have the Kenya Kwanza government here and all of us here.
This as the Ministry of Labour seems to address challenges including Kenyans suffering in the United Emirates, as reports indicated 62 people have already died in the Gulf under mysterious circumstances.
The 51 principal secretaries who were approved yesterday by the National Assembly will be serving for a period of 5 years under the tenure of President William Ruto. Paul Kirobi, TV47, State House, Nairobi.
And from County 047 to Las Vegas, the former president Uhuru Kenyatta last year awarded a city charter to Nakuru, making it the fourth city in the country. Nakuru acquired the city status 1 year ago after the Senate approved Nakuru municipality's application for elevation to city status last year under the regime of former Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui. Our very own Chechi Josephine interacted with the Nakuru residents on life in the newest city so far and the state of the economy a year later.
Ya city status tumetoka mbali.
A time like this a year ago, Nakuru was still basking the glory of having been elevated to city status, becoming the fourth city after Nairobi, Mombasa and Kisumu. The elevation came with a rise in residents' expectations, hoping to enjoy better recreational facilities, sufficient water, state-of-the-art stadia, good road networks, enhanced solid waste management system, among other services. But a year later, residents are expressing mixed reactions.
Sasa hii ni mwaka moja na sita blame city sana sababu hiyo mwaka moja mkiangalia maisha economy ya Kenya nchi mzima na dunia yote economy imekuwa mbaya sana.
Employment kwa vijana itakuwa kwa wingi.
According to the Nakuru City Manager Gitau Dhambaja, there has been a lot of changes in infrastructure along Kenyatta Avenue. Telecommunication, improved drainage system and walkways that consider people living with disabilities, and setting of street furniture, among other things, are some of the city developments.
And in these roads that we are doing, we are incorporating three components. One, the road itself. We have the drainage. We also have the walkway, that is the NMT. And in our design, we are designing them considering the PWD. And the fourth one, which is very important, the street lights.
However, a segment of residents lament of some parts of the town being sidelined on developments, as well as failure on reviving of factories to offer job opportunities.
Nakuru West Kapkures ni sehemu ya Nakuru City. Kuna ile usawa ya mambo ambayo inapofanyika katika city, lakini kule tumetengwa. City haifiki kule, hatuna mambo ya sewer line, hatuna mambo ya nini.
Kama hii mambo ya factories ambazo zilikuwa zimelala katika hii jiji yetu ya Nakuru. Nimeona kwamba ni vizuri kama hizo factories zingefunguliwa na serikali iweze kuweka pesa kwa hizo makampuni hizi ziweke sifunguliwe na vijana waajiriwe kazi.
In line with the climate change agenda, greening along Kenyatta Avenue, as well as upgrading the Nyayo Garden within the CBD, has been done to help mitigate pollution.
We are moving away from concrete in every space that we have within the city to a greening aspect, so that we can achieve the carbon sink and other benefits that comes with the greening of a city. Nakuru a green city.
Installation of CCTV cameras within the city as a way of managing security. Construction of modern markets for small-scale traders in 4 sub-counties.
Nakuru imekuwa na utulivu na hii ni town ambayo imepata city status, na one of the requirements ndio iweze kupata kutembelewa na watalii both locals and international. We must make sure there is adequate security.
However, Gitau outlines some of the challenges faced after the elevation status.
You find the infrastructure that we had during the municipality, they are not enough to accommodate or to serve the residents of Nakuru in a better way. So another reason why we are allocating more resources to the infrastructure. You talk about roads, you talk about the drainage within the city, you talk about the sewer within the city, you talk about water within the city. These are some of the challenges that the constraint we are getting to better serve our people.
Nakuru is working towards accomplishing Vision 2050 that will work under the Urban Areas and Cities Act 2011 to